Mike, all yours. Thank you.
Okay, thanks a lot. Jay, first of all, sorry for my English because we French people, our English is not the best ever. So first of all, sorry for that. Before to talk about your wrestling career, I want to start about you, from you as a person, and few people know about it, but your story is basketball, and you
Yeah.
were quite pretty good at it. Can you tell about your basketball career?
Yes, I can. And don't mind your English at all because I actually lived in France for 2 years in Le Havre, where I
Okay.
actually played Pro B ball at Le Havre. It was a long time ago. I played for about 2 years, so I'm familiar with your accent.
Okay.
Um, So I played ball ever since I was 7 years old, and it carried me to playing basketball overseas to Le Havre. But eventually, obviously, I got into wrestling, and the rest is history.
Okay. 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 On a wrestling, who was first of all, who was and who are your role models?
Oh, ugh, China. I grew up very muscular, so I was picked on as a child growing up because of how muscular I was, and just seeing her embody and just walk out and be so confident and own the room. I've never seen a woman of this size, of this magnitude, just come in and walk out right and have her head held high. She's the one who, other than my mother and my grandmother, she was one of the women who made me love myself and love my body and love the way I look. So she was one of the first role models that got me into wrestling and wanted me to watch more and see her dominating these men and beating them up left and right. I mean, China was remarkable.
And now in 2024, I do think that you are now these people, this kind of person for some young ladies, some young girls who they're looking for someone who can help them to love themselves.
Yeah, yeah. That's so that's my goal. I want women to love themselves, to not bend to society, to know who they are, to be confident. For some reason, I feel like society has a problem with women who are overly confident. And there's nothing wrong with knowing yourself and know what you bring to the table and holding your head high and not bending towards people. Obviously, we have to have empathy. I'm a certified child psychologist. I have a lot of empathy towards children and adults as well, but I know who I am, and I'm not going to let society shape and tell me who I am. And that's my purpose. My purpose is just be yourself. Go out there, be yourself. Don't try to conform to the room. And obviously, there are certain circumstances, but I want to be that for the women out there who probably don't like the way they look. I want to be the one who can you can turn on the TV and say, "Oh my gosh, that's goals. That's what I want to be." And I hear it all the time, and I want to be that. I want to set the example and be the bar for these women.
Okay. In your answer, you told about be empathic to children, and I
Mhm.
just saw that you have a degree in child psychology. So
Yes.
I just want to know how to have this degree is helpful in you being a mom.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. In so many different ways, but I would say I don't actually apply any of it to my child. I sit back and
Okay.
I just let her roam and I take it for what it is. And if anything, I'm conforming to my child. It's my first child. I had her when I was 25 years old, and we're actually conforming to a career. So I have to understand. At first, when she would come and watch me wrestle, she would cry all the time, and I would try because I was trying to break her into it and like, let her understand it's okay, mommy's okay. And now she's out there screaming and yelling and wanting me to beat the person up and calling my moves out to me and my moves set out to me. It's pretty inspiring. And I tell Bianca this all the time, excuse it, but this is my favorite tag mate. We go at it all the time in the house. But it helps a lot. It helps a lot. I don't try to use it as often as I would in a certain setting. But when I'm at home, I just let my daughter be herself. And I'm the one, if anything, learning more about myself and growing along with her and this career.
So yeah, about your career, how difficult maybe it's not to be a mom, but to be a professional wrestler and to be successful as you are.
It's tough. It's tough. We literally share our life. with the WWE universe. And I remember sitting down and having conversations with my coworkers, like, when do we have breaks? Because people don't understand we have no off season. This is every week, week in, week out. At that, now we have PLEs, like we have the PLE coming at Bash in Berlin in Germany. And then we have to turn around, and the people that work at Raw have to turn around and go straight to work. And we're operating at a whole nother time zone. You know, we have to just conform to what we're doing. It's tough, but I can say that with us having Paul at the head of the table and him driving this boat, he understands family and he understands what's important. And what's important that we have to be there for, and when family has to be there for us. This job is very understanding to our families. It's tough. We share our lives with the WWE universe, but you know what? This is what we signed up for, and I wouldn't have it any other way.
So now let's go to the beginning of your career, your wrestling career. I
Yes.
saw when I was preparing this interview, I saw just Mark Henry got a big impact in your career. Can you talk about it?
Yeah, he came down, watched me train, and because there was a mutual friend that actually put us together. And he was like, you know, you're tough. And then he sent me to meet this other guy named Rip Rogers, who, if anybody in the wrestling industry knows Rip Rogers, like, he is a hard guy to crack. He doesn't play the radio, if that's like an old way of saying it. But he put me through the ringer, and he's seen that I was tough. He's seen that I could handle it. And Mark was like, okay, all right, you're tough. Like, I'm going to send you to a tryout. Let's see how you do. But he told me like, nothing's going to be handed to me. Like, it's going to be hard for you. Just go out there, put your head down, do the work, and listen more than you talk. Always help out, be polite, shake hands, and be professional, because at the end of the day, him putting his name on a dotted line for me to come to this tryout, his name is on the line. So I did exactly that. I mind my manners and I put my head down and I did the work.
When someone like him say this to you, that my name is on the line for you, is such a pressure, no?
Yes, it was. I mean, of course. I mean, this is a Hall of Famer here. So I know I had to come with it. I was in shape. I didn't have the wrestling background. You know, in basketball, when we get hit, we slide. We don't roll. You know, if anything, we're rolling through someone, like going through someone. We don't. It's a whole different type of footwork. It's a whole different type of tenacity with it. So I was coming to it anew, and I was learning, and I liked it. I was like, wow, like, I haven't felt like this in a minute. I felt like a deer in a headlight. Like, I didn't know what I was doing. So it was just something that I fell in love with so quick, and I refuse to put down. Like, I refuse to put down. I love what I'm doing. I love coming to work. I love being around my coworkers. I love the fans, even the ones that are irritating. I love them all. Like, it makes everything worthwhile. And when I do see these kids who stand in line for so long to buy these action figures and to buy our merchandise and to come to our events and make these signs, it shows you why this is all worth it.
Did you feel exactly the same when you was in Lyon? Because for me, it was like, okay, we finally got it. This PLE in France. How do you feel? Because who was that? I think it was Bailey. She was saying to me that when you saw the crowd, you say, okay, that's all the work I did before. That's for this kind of moment. Do you feel the same?
Yes, and the crowd in Lyon was, I mean, I couldn't even hear anything. I couldn't hear a thing the entire time. They were shouting, they were parading, they were just, I don't know what they were saying at one point, because they were just electric. Like, they were electrifying. They were excited for us to be there. They were so thankful for us to be there. So Berlin has to bring it, and I'm sure they will do that. I'm sure they would do the exact same. But Lyon, I honestly, I haven't had a crowd yet like Lyon. That was crazy. Like, I couldn't hear anything. The magnitude was earthquaking. It gives you goosebumps. Like, it just shows you, like, this is why we do this. We are superstars. We are out here. We're owning this right now. This moment is pivotal. it was breathtaking for me. I've never seen it. It was my first time being overseas to wrestle, so it was a big deal for me.
Which night was the better night for you in Lyon between SmackDown and Backlash?
A Backlash because we won our belts, but
Okay.
I don't know. The crowd was so great both nights. Like it was both nights. Like I was like, this is something I've never seen before. Italy was crazy too, but this was like something like they were just grateful. You could just sense the great, like they were just like, thank you so much for coming. You could feel it. Like they were. I've never experienced a crowd like that, and I've been in front of some amazing crowds, some big crowds. My first match ever was in front of a huge crowd. So I don't know. I would say the PLE match. Yep, I would say that the Backlash was probably the better crowd.
Okay. You talk a lot about grateful, and I say it again. It was the feeling that we all have because we grew up watching WWE, and we was asking, begging for this kind of moment, and finally we got it, and we gave all that we have, and we felt like you two, all the superstar was giving to all they have. So yeah, I think we on the French people name, we all are grateful. Thank you for that. And I was at the press conference after Backlash, and I saw you and Bianca. You was like, how can I say that? Just happy, just very happy. And can you tell us about the feeling when it's over, you finally won it, but the night just began?
I mean, the night just began for us because we had another show the next day, so we had to pack our stuff up, get on a bus, and head straight to the next venue. So we weren't able to celebrate the way that somebody would celebrate a huge, phenomenal win. You know, the Kabuki Warriors, they are astonishing. They have been holding down the tag team division, and for us to come in and just take that win over them was a big moment. So we were just soaking it in. She had her family in town. I had my family in town. And we had been touring the entire time. So it was our first time cause we were traveling from where we're coming from, Italy to Austria to France. So it was our first time to actually breathe. And believe it or not, it wasn't much breathing because we had to hop on the car and head to the next venue. But in that moment, it was just like all our hard work and working together because we both work solo. You know, like she's had a solo career. I've had a solo career. I've been undefeated. She's won a lot of championships. So us coming together is a big moment in our society. You know, who would ever thought you would see both of us on stage at that working together, right? So being that we have to be selfless in these moments and we have to work together, coexist, and create a phenomenal match, and it all came together, it was really a good moment for us to just soak it into and for me to be next to her and her to be next to me and to try to elevate this women's division, this tag team women's division, and to put it on a PLE. So that was a big moment for us. And we're trying to be organic and trying to not trying to embarrass ourselves on that stage after our match because we were just filled with joy. And you know, it's her first time winning a tag team belt. It's my first time winning a title, in WWE in general. So it was a big moment for us. We were just elated. We were excited, but we knew we had business the next day to tend to. So we couldn't do anything too crazy.
Okay. When you saw a career like this and you go back in United States, when people it's like weekly, so it's not the same energy that they gave you. Do you feel quite disappointing, or it's not normal, and the I don't know how to say that in English, but this special moment is just over and you just have to wait the next time?
I wouldn't say that. I would say because we travel so much in the United States. They see it so often. So for them, it's another week of SmackDown, even though we have to create that magic to get them on their feet. So I would say they're just used to such amazing moments so often because they have access to see us more than someone from Europe that could see us for that for the PLEs. So I felt like after they knew, like, okay, we have to bring it. I felt like that's what it was. They were more so like, okay, let's bring it. Like Italy brought this, Scotland brought this, like France brought this. So I felt like they knew, like, I don't know if you know, but I feel like everybody, like all the countries are going back and forth with like, okay, this country was like this country's like this, we're gonna be like this. So we're kind of going back and forth. And I think it's more so for them, it's just they're used to it. Like they've seen this. They can go to Cleveland, they can go to Orlando, they can go to DC and see these matches ever so often. And somebody from overseas, from Germany, they can't make those trips as often. So like a PLE that's coming up at the end of this month, these moments are that much bigger. And, you know, they've been anticipating this for a long time. It's our first PLE in Germany. So more people are anticipating, more people are taking off of work and getting their kids out of school to come and watch these shows. So if any, I mean, I don't know, Lyon was one of one. So it's like everybody has to bring it. I felt like that was the bar. And I promise that was something that everybody was talking about on social media. Like, it's a bar here. Everybody else has to meet these standards. So Germany, I hope you guys are ready, and I hope you guys have your signs and you're eager and you're excited because we're gonna bring it. So I need you guys to bring it.
WWE was in Scotland like 2 months ago, I think.
Yes.
Now, oh sorry. Now you're coming in Germany. Before it was in France. So what do you think about the fact that WWE is doing more PLE in Europe than she used to do it before?
I love it. You see your purpose. Like you see, I've never been to Saudi Arabia. Never been to Saudi Arabia. Who would think my first time in Saudi Arabia, I'm working, I'm getting paid, I'm enjoying myself. At that, I had time to relax. We were able to go to a private beach. We were treated like royalty. It was so nice. I haven't been to these parts of the world. I've never been to Germany. I'm excited to go to Germany. I actually had one of my sorority sisters who is from Germany. The only word I know is Ich liebe dich. That's all I know. But you know, she's super excited for me. She loves Germany. So we're able to not only do what we love, but travel the world and see different societies and see how people live and see. It just shows you what it's like. Me being in Saudi Arabia and seeing the women in Saudi Arabia and, you know, them coming to our shows and them being so thankful and them standing in line to see and take pictures of Bianca and I. It was like, this is beautiful. Like this. I'm just getting goosebumps again. Like it was just showing us our purpose and all the long hours and just, you know, this is not an easy career. You know, like if anything, it's more mental than physical. It's very physical, obviously. So it's very much a tax on your body, but it's very mental. So to see these different societies come together and forget their worries and watch us perform, that's magical. To watch us create magic. That's our purpose.
You're just saying that it's more mental than physical. When you are in like how can I say, like in a down do you think about all the stuff that you did, all the people that you met, all the joy that people gave to you and you gave to them for being more strong, or is
Yeah. Yeah, but you know, before you get into this career, so many different mental battles you have to fight to get here. You know, I was very lucky. I wouldn't even call it luck because I would say I worked obviously somewhere else that I had to go through the ringer to get to where I am. You know, in 3 years, of course, I get scrutiny in 3 years. You know, I'm very much immature in the game compared to a lot of my coworkers, and I'm very blessed to work along such phenomenal women. It's very mental, but again, you have to tell yourself why you do it, and seeing these kids and seeing the crowds and seeing the signs and seeing the merch, and that's what that's what make it worthwhile. That's what you sit back and you're like, that little girl who came here that sat in this line for so long, like, this is why I do it. I love the kids. I love the kids. I'm geared more towards adults, but I love kids, and they just are so innocent, and they bring the bracelets, and I don't know, like they make me melt. Obviously, I worked with kids, so that's why. But you just have to be strong, and at the end of the day, we all work with each other so much that we have to lean on one another and support one another when things get heavy. But the purpose is that person that's going through so much, for them to put everything aside to come to our show and smile and forget about whatever's going on, that matters to us. Like everybody coming together and conforming and watching a show and laughing and crying and having emotions being pulled left and right. That's our purpose. And you have to be very mentally mature to be in such a company.
You know what does feel to be champ? But when you're not champ anymore, do you feel like you made something like in inside you? To be champ is like an addiction, maybe. Okay.
I wouldn't say that. I feel like the champion makes the belt.
Okay.
The
Okay.
champion makes the belt. You make your legacy. You create. Oh, when Jade had that belt, when Bianca had that belt, when they had those tag team belts, they elevated the division. They did that. They did this. The Kabuki Warriors, they did that. I believe the man makes the belt, the title. Sorry. I believe the man makes the title. I don't think the title makes the man.
So what are your goals with this title? When you will have it back, what are your goals? You say elevate the division, but what does it mean?
Oh, I love that. I like what you say when we have it back, because you already know we're going to get it back. Of course,
Yeah.
we're going to get it back. We're going to elevate the vision. We're going to put it on the map. We want to put it on more PLEs. We want to show the cohesiveness that two dominant women in the division are going to bring. Like I said, the Kabuki Warriors, they carried it with pride, and we got one over on them. Of course we were. I mean, why not? The Storm and the EST, that's what we do. But we want to see it on more PLEs. We want the title to be more respected. We're here to put dignity in the title, not saying that it never had that before, but now we're putting grit into it, that nobody can come in here and take this title from anyone. Like it creates legacy. Like we're creating the belt right now. Like we want to cement this belt into PLEs that people don't want to miss it. And again, with she and I holding it, I don't see it getting any higher than that.
Okay. My last question will be about Berlin, Bash in Berlin. You say you're very excited. That's the first time in Germany.
Yeah.
What did you expect about I know you're very excited, but what did you expect about the show, about the crowd? I saw it will be SmackDown before Bash in Berlin. So what did you expect? I know Lyon is a bar, but I think as a French, I think it will be less than Lyon. But what do you think? What do you expect
Okay.
about Berlin?
Well, I know Germany has a huge history of wrestling. So I know that if anything, they're used to such faces, not particularly our faces, but they're used to such phenomenal wrestlers coming to their country and performing. The bar is set. So I'm expecting an electrifying crowd. I'm expecting signs left and right. I'm expecting me not to hear myself think in that ring. I'm excited for SmackDown. So that's the test, right? SmackDown is the test to see how Saturday is going to be the PLE with Bash at Berlin. That's the test. So they have, I mean, like you just said, you're biased here with Leon. So I feel like they got to show Scotland out. They got to show Lyon out. They got to show Saudi Arabia out. Like, I need them to represent from Europe here. I need them to turn up, turn out, and just be one of those countries that everybody's talking about. Like, we want to come back. We always want to come back to these countries. So if they do their job, we're going to do our job. And we're going to put on some amazing matches. So, I mean, they should already know that we're going to do nothing but create a staple there, but they have to do their part and we're going to do ours.
Okay, thanks a lot, Jade. Was a huge pleasure. Thanks a lot.
No problem. Thank you, Max.